For an amazing product animation, we need three things. First of all, we need a product. Second of all, we need music. And third, we need lighting. These three things combined, together with some nice camera angles, will net you something like this. Now, by now you might know that I'm all about creating free base files for you guys to follow along. So go to the Patreon, download this base file for free and follow along when you're done. So when you open it up, you'll see something like this. This is basically a product that I created for this scene specifically. It's just a sleek looking speaker. It has a volume up and volume down buttons. It has nice fuzzy fabric and it has some embossed lettering on top. I've also added in lighting here. So if we go into render view, you'll notice that we have an infinite backdrop and we have three lights. I have one fill light, which is the one over here. I have one highlight to highlight the top there, and a secondary highlight to highlight more the sides and the back. Before doing anything else though, let's create a more functional workspace, which is usually a good thing to do in Blender. So I'm gonna drag up this timeline window here, make it nice and big like this one, and just add in another one at the bottom there. Now I'm gonna set this one to be the video sequencer, and I'm gonna add in another window here on the right. And for now, let's select our camera collection over here, hit Shift A, add in a new camera in there. And I'm just gonna hit Control-Alt-0 to make it the active camera to view there. And I'm gonna hit numpad 0 to go out of camera view on this side. And on the right side, I'm gonna hit numpad 0 to go into camera view. Now I'm gonna disable the overlays up here. And this will just be our preview window, which will always showcase the active camera. Like I said, I added this video sequencer window down here, and it has a very specific function, and that is for the music. It's what drives the camera scene transitions. It's what driving the speed and everything else. So let's add in some music. You can click on add here, sound, and then choose just any sound that you want. I created some music for this video specifically using some of the Epidemic soundtracks that I usually use. So I can share it with you guys, but please find some music that works for you. Finally, let's hit N down here, and we can scroll down and hit display waveform. This waveform will now show you where the music does something. So where it transitions or where there's a more impactful moment. Obviously we can tell there's a hit here, there's a hit there, there's a hit there. So these are nice points for us to transition our camera. What I'm gonna do in the sequencer window is I'm gonna align my playhead, which is this blue line over here, with the start of every of these spikes, and I'm gonna hit M. Now this will create a marker on the frame number that you created it on. So mine is on frame 48. Yours could be on a different frame since you're using different music. And I'm just gonna align more of these and just create a bunch of them throughout this music. All right, so that's all of the markers done. Now you might have noticed that they also appeared within our timeline here. So that's a good thing. We now have several markers ready to use and for us to know where to apply a camera transition. We are going to start off on frame 0 here, and let's create our first camera angle. So I'm just gonna call this one first, call it whatever you want. You could also name it specifically like close up or something like that. Now what I like to do actually before moving this camera is to always create a focal point for each camera. So we have the camera over here, but it needs to point at something. And usually it can be quite fidgety, you know, hitting RR, trying to rotate everything, making it align, can really be a pain in the ass. So instead, what I advise you to do is to actually add in an empty. And I like to use a sphere because it's more noticeable. I'm gonna call this one first focal point. So first FP, take our camera here, go to the object constraints, and let's add in a drag to constraint. Set the target to be the first FP. Camera will always look at our target point, and we can use this to focus. With that done, I've aligned it at top right there, and I'm just gonna take the camera here, go into top view, and just pull it in nice and close. Something like that. Maybe pull it down, and I'm just gonna pull it in, and let's just pull this guy up a little bit as well. Take both of them, pull them down. Just try to get something that works for your animation. So what I want to do is I'm going to go start something like this on the first frame. And now I'm just going to select the camera, hit I, and choose location. Now let's go to frame 48 and let's move our camera slightly. Let's go into front view here. I'm just going to go something like this. You never want these motions to be too drastic. If they are too fast or too sped up, they will look unnatural, especially with close close-up stuff, try to get subtle motions going on. So I just rotated it a little bit, or actually I just moved it to the side. I'm going to hit I again and choose location. Now this will automatically add in Bezier keyframes, and that's not something that you want. You want a linear camera motion for these types of animations. In the timeline here, let's hit T and choose linear with both of these keyframes selected, and we now have our first motion created. All right, so that's our first scene done, and now we want to transition on frame 48 to our second scene. Now I think our second scene should be a close-up of these buttons over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another camera, so Shift A camera, and now with our view aligned, I'm going to hit Control Alt 0 again. And now you might have noticed something, and that is that it's sort of not working because it's still looking at this thing. And you might be thinking, okay, so why is that? Well, that's because the first camera is still the active camera. If you look in the outliner over here, you'll see that the active camera is actually the one that's being highlighted. So this green icon has a highlight around it. Instead of doing this, we don't need to touch this camera. We first need to make sure that this is the active camera. Now we can do this by clicking in the outliner on this icon, and it will immediately jump to this camera. So you will now notice that this is the active camera. It's not aligned to anything, but we'll go ahead and fix that right now. So again, in this view here, we sort of have it aligned. I'm just going to hit Control Alt 0 to align it properly. Now I'm just going to name this, and I'm going to call this second. Now again, what we want to do is add another empty. So Shift A, empty sphere. Let's just align it with the buttons there. And for our camera here, let's add in a track 2 constraint and select the empty as the target. As you can tell, it's down below here. So let's just select the empty and align it with our buttons like so. And I'm going to move the camera closer because I don't want any of the fuzz appearing in this image. So I'm going to hit GZZ to move it along its local Z axis. And I'm going to go for something like this. Now we might need to change the focal point to be a bit more dramatic. And I think 43 millimeters works fine for this. Now, what I also like to do is actually decide on a depth of field point here. The depth of field point to be the same as our empty. By the way, let's rename our empty to be second FP. All right, so we now have 2 camera angles, and we also need to animate this second camera angle. So on frame 48 here, I'm gonna go and hit I and choose location. On frame 92, which will be our next scene transition, I'm just going to take this GZZ and just pull it back ever so slightly. And that's just a basic pan out of this scene, so a zoom out, if you will. Again, make sure to make our keyframes linear. So in the timeline here, let's hit T and choose linear. You might have noticed though that we don't have an actual first camera anymore. And that's because we need to transition these cameras in Blender. And we need to tell Blender which camera is the active one at any given time. So what I'm going to do on frame 1 is I'm going to add another marker. So in the timeline, I'm going to hit M. So this will be our first camera here. And I'm going to set the first camera to be the active camera now. And I'm going to hit Control B while hovering in the timeline. As you can tell, it has now linked it. So over here we see first, it has linked it to this marker. On frame 48, we want to do the same, but then for camera number 2, re-enable the second camera here. And in the timeline, let's hit Control B. Now let's play this animation back and see how that looks. All right, so that's awesome. That's definitely working. I'm just gonna switch this over to render view here so we can actually see the entire thing going on here. So this looks fine, and then the second view over there. Now, the final thing I want to do for our second view is to actually change the lights. And I can change the lights by rotating them. So I'm going to take another empty here, and I'm going to place this one in the lighting collection, and I'm going to call it lighting control. I don't know, it makes sense to me. And now I'm going to take all of these lights, and finally, let's take our empty here. Let's hit Control P and parent them all to the empty. Now, if we change the empty, the rotation in this case, we can actually change the way this looks. So what I want to do is on frame 48 here, I'm going to add a keyframe for the rotation for the empty. And then on frame 92, I'm just going to rotate it ever so slightly. So something like this, just to give a more interesting look. Let's make all of this linear. So T and choose linear interpolation. So this is what we get now with just 2 camera angles going on for this scene. Looking pretty dope if you ask me. All right, so on to our third camera. Let's repeat all of these steps. Into top view here, add in a camera. Again, make sure this is the active camera. And I'm gonna hit Control Alt 0 to align it to the top. Make sure that this is completely centered. And the Z location is something that I wanna change until I'm nice and close up to these letters. With the camera selected, I'm just gonna go G and X, move it to the side. I think I'm gonna start something like this, hit I, choose location, and then go to the next scene transition, and I'm gonna hit G and X again, and I'm just gonna pull it to the side like this, I again, and choose another location keyframe. Again, let's make sure to make these linear, so interpolation and linear with the T there. Finally, we need to transition our camera here. So on F92 here, let's make sure our third camera is active, and let's hit Control B while hovering in the timeline to make it our third active camera. So we now have 3 scenes. I want to change the lighting a little bit more because we have nice highlights on this text over here, and I want to change them while the camera is panning along our text. So again, we have the keyframe on 92 there. I'm just going to go and make this something like this. Yeah, I saw some nice motion there. Let's go and choose a rotation for our lights there. So we now have 2 scenes in which the light is actually changing, and that's looking very, very nice. For the next camera angle, what I want to do is create more of a zoomed out top view. So camera here, I'm going to call this thing fourth. I want to add in another empty for the target as well. So empty, and I'm just going to call this fourth FP. And what we can do now is set the fourth camera to be the active camera, hit Control Alt 0 to align it to our view there, 0 out the X and Y, so our object is nice and centered, and we can now zoom out. Now, I don't like the lighting in this shot, so before we do that, I'm actually going to take this keyframe for the lighting control and just move it back 1 frame. Frame 137, when we change the camera angle, we can actually change the rotation of our lighting, and you won't be able to tell that it's rotating because it rotates in 1 frame, which is the same frame as our scene transition. So the lighting doesn't change at all. It just looks better for this specific scene. So I'm just going to take a angle which works for this top scene. I think this looks pretty dope. So I'm just going to hit I again over here. And we now just have in 1 single frame, we have changed the entire lighting, although the camera is not changing just yet. So let's do that next. Again, let's make the fourth our active camera. And in the timeline, let's hit Control B to link the fourth camera to our marker there. I'm going to select the depth of field to be our fourth FP. I'm going to take this FP or align it with the text up top there. And finally, I'm going to take the fourth and object constraint track 2, link it to the fourth FP. So the fourth camera motion will just be another basic zoom out. So in the view over here, I'm just going to hit I and choose location. And then on the final keyframe for this scene, I'm going to hit G, Z, pull it up ever so slightly. Again, subtle motions work best for these types of animations. So like this, hit I again, and in here, choose linear interpolation. So now we have 4 scene transitions. Now for the 5th camera angle, I want to go down below somewhere. So something like this, and still pretty zoomed out. So I think this will work fine. That's on frame 181 here. I'm going to add in another camera, Shift A camera. Let's call this 5th. We need to add in an empty, select the camera, add a track 2, make the 5th FP the track 2, align our camera to our view here. So let's first make it the active camera and then hit Control Alt 0 on the left side here to align it to this view. I'm going to hit Control B on the timeline there to also make sure it's linked to our marker. And then we have this FP which we can use to actually change what we are seeing. Now, I think I'm going to go focus on the top left or sort of left part of this image. And what I want to do now is I want to rotate the camera again. So once more, let's hit I, choose location, next marker, go to something like this. Just move it on the x-axis will look interesting. So go to something like that, hit I again, and choose another location keyframe. Again, in the timeline, let's make sure both of these are linear, and voila. So we have another cool looking motion. For the 6th motion, that will be another close up. And I think I'm going to go for the fuzzy fabric on this one. So again, Shift A, camera. Let's rename it 6th, add in an empty, scale the FP down. Let's make sure we align it. So Control Alt 0 here and Control B in the timeline to link to our timeline there. Maybe change the lighting on this one. So over here, let's reset our lighting to be the original lighting before this frame. So 225. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it right at this one. So over here on 180, I'm going to hit I, make sure that doesn't change for this scene. And then 181, I'm just going to reset everything to 0. Hit I again, and we should have our default lighting. All right, so that works. And on 226 here, I'm going to take the 6th camera and move it up. Make sure we track it to our 6th FP there. And also set the depth of field to be our 6th FP. And I'm just gonna make sure we are getting in nice and close for this thing here. That looks fine to me. We can actually make this a blurry transition. So I moved the focal point very, very close to the origin of our camera here. And in this case, I'm not really going to do much of camera work. I'm just gonna change the depth of field. Over here, let's go and add a location keyframe for our FP. And then on the final frame, let's go and just pull it in closer so we get a nice sharp fabric there, and just hit I and choose location again. And we now have a nice blurry transition as well. That's 6 camera angles all done. And for the final one, I'm just gonna do some sort of flyby besides the front there. So again, let's add in another camera. Again, let's add in another empty. I'm gonna set it somewhere in the middle here, and let's take the camera here. Obviously, we'll want to set depth of field there, and we want to set the tracking as well. So track 2 and track 2 7 FP. Hit Control Alt 0 to align it to this view, and let's hit Control B in the timeline. And finally, let's go over here and let's just pull this camera to the side a little bit, something like that. We are going to start off from here. So hit I for location there. And then on the final frame, which will be frame 380. So this will be a longer scene. I'm going to go G and X, pull it all the way down here, and also G and Z, get another nice close up. Just want to end on a nice angle like this one. Hit I again, choose location in the timeline, again T and a linear interpolation. Voila, we now have our final camera angle. Now, one final thing I want to show you, and then you can go ham creating exactly how you want it to look, is that we can reuse these cameras. So we have several more markers here, and I can just go, okay, so for example, the third, I like that angle, you know, so I'm going to hit Control B again on this one. I'm going to go to the next marker. I'm going to select the second camera actually, and hit Control B on second. And I'm going to go another marker further, and I'm actually going to take the fifth for this one. You know, we can just recycle all of these. We don't have to create anything new anymore. And finally, let's go back to this one, and let's take the first. There it is. Let's take the first one. Let's hit Control B. And over here, let's take our sixth, and let's hit Control B. And finally, let's take, our fifth. So we end with the complete product in view here. So I'm going to take the fifth camera animation, and I'm going to hit Control B on the last one. Now, obviously, you can do so much more in tweaking these, and you can also change lighting and another camera motion. In the scope of this tutorial, I'm not going to do that because this tutorial will take ages, but I showed you how to set up cameras, how to link them to markers, and how to create nice, attractive camera angles based on music input. And all of this is perfect for creating product animations. I hope you enjoyed the video and hope you learned something. And if you did, then please leave a like and subscribe. The full project, which you saw with the original render, is available on the Patreon. So join the Patreon. It helps support the channel, and it'll give you access to well over 45 projects. Now, if you want to increase your render time so you can render out this animation a little bit faster, feel free to watch this video I made. It'll help out a bunch. This video was made possible by the following patrons. Thank you so much for your support.